Stas says he's a firm believer of EBM. However, he feels that the bridge to practices is missing for it to fly. What's your take on this? My take and Todd's take and Kurt's take and Patricia's take. It's in the book. I also think there's a possibility of evidence-based leadership being helpful. I think there's some ideas that we're going to be sharing through a course and some form of accreditation called evidence-based leadership that will hopefully bridge the gap between the theory of EBM and putting it in practice as a manager, leader, scrum master, who's ever using it. What do you think, Todd?
So the bridge to practices. This is what I've traditionally seen with evidence-based management and what seems to be many years using it is that people can automatically relate to the KVAs, right? There's suggested example KV, or not suggested. There's example KVMs, key value metrics, in the evidence-based management guide. People can understand that, and away we go, understanding the evidence side of it. There's really not, other than, so practices, other than where do you store that data? How do you create a dashboard? I think that with growing demand in evidence-based management, that there's going to be that kind of tooling that emerges for the KVAs. Here is where the pavement really hits the road and where the really hard questions get asked is, what are your goals? And so the KVAs understand it, totally get it, goals, and then you go to people and they say, the goal is to do this thing. And you say, but why are you doing that thing? And you start to dig deeper and deeper. And oftentimes they don't know. And so I think that there could be a gap in practices or that's missing from the goals side. And so I think that there's some goal formats to explore. There's a way that you can mesh up what your goals are and your KVAs and a nice looking dashboard. A lot of EBM, and every single time I've used it, it's been different. We've used it to build our company. I've used it in product development situations. I've used it in portfolio situations. Heck, I used it to run a ultra marathon on a trail. Those KVAs, those goals were different. The way that it would make them visible would be different. And so I think that there will be, as it becomes more mainstream, practices that grow along with it. I would say that the hardest part of those practices is going to reside in the goals section of it, because that's just where you run right into a wall with goals. I'm excited to see the evolution of that. I know Will's putting some things in chat here. We had extensive discussions about that last week, and we have example formats for goals. But when it starts at the top and you're talking about strategic direction, it goes down that way. There's only so much bottom pressure that you can put on understanding what the strategy of a company is.
Well said. Thanks, Stas.